Hi, I'm Paul speaking for Free Range with Gail of Gaia. Today, Gail welcomes to the program Akura from Germany and the twins, Ireland Clark and Michael. It's going to be a wild live program. We're on a dozen different platforms, and I can't wait to get started.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas and we talk to wonderful people. And I have a real treat for you today. I have with me Akura. Her twin flame wasn't able to make it today, but she is in a twin flame relationship. And then I also have Ireland and Michael, and they are in a twin flame also. So our energy here has got to be off the charts, in the clouds, and so on. So I welcome you. I'm so happy you're here. And I named the name of this show Shifting Consciousness Upwards. And I was thinking that that's what we need on the planet. That's very important. And Akura had mentioned before we started a little bit about crazy energies. Would you like to expand on that? And then we'll turn it over to Michael in Ireland.
Yes, we can do it. Yeah, I'm Sandra from Germany. I'm a starseed. And yeah, we talked about it in previous interviews. What happened to me in Marseille? We stayed in another density. We died almost there. So, and what I get since last year is that these galactic wars come down to us now. And this is what we can see now. This explosions, this chaos outside, and that we have to stay centered in our heart. That's what I'm getting all the time. And that we see that everything is actually an illusion here. So really everything what you can see is an illusion, but the only thing what remains is your heart. Your heart is the strongest vibration, and that is for me the gateway to 5D. This is what you can observe now, this chaos, that this is coming down.
I think that's one of the first things that's created when you're pregnant is it starts at the heart. Interesting that it goes that way. It's not the brain, it's the heart, and that's what's so important. Now, you had also mentioned that the energies were feeling kind of crazy and chaotic. And Michael, I thought you and Ireland might be able to comment on that a little bit.
Yeah,
whoever wants to go first.
I was exhausted before this conversation. I was like, I need a nap. I'm tired. I had crazy dreams last night. And it just brought up a lot of energy that needs to be purged. Like Akura said, is like we're starting to become more in our heart space. So any negative energy, any lower emotion, it's just getting so hard to remain in the body. It's getting so painful to keep that low energy inside of you. So that's what I'm feeling. I just feel like I keep purging and then getting back in my heart space and then feeling low for a little bit and then purging it. Because ultimately, I feel the best when I'm in my heart space and I'm in the love frequency. So I feel like this eclipse is really just getting rid of all the things that are keeping you in that lowered state, in the illusion, in the false reality. That's my perception of it.
And one of the things I talked about today on my live stream is that, we experience things through shifts. So myself and probably you as well, a few days prior to the eclipse, I felt a lot of, of the shaking, and it brings things to the surface so you could reevaluate it. Right now, we're going through the destruction of the old. So all of the subconscious programs that maybe you've carried with you on your life, they're falling apart right now. And on my channel, I share always authentically that, a lot of times people will see like a full moon or an eclipse and they just think it's on that one day. You might feel it, a little prior, during, or after a certain event, whether it's a full moon or an eclipse. So everything carries an energetic theme. And right now we're going through that theme of rebirth. So we're seeing a lot of the dense energies of the past. We're seeing the destruction of the old, and it's not comfortable. So we're all going through this shift for the collective, myself, right? We're all going through this shift right now. And whatever was familiar and comfortable is no longer familiar and comfortable anymore. So, it comes in waves. A lot of times I share about Dolores Cannon and the waves of volunteers, but just our reality, it happens in waves. There's different timelines, there's different experiences. So, for me on my personal journey, I had a big shakeup in September, and now I'm getting another shakeup, and I'm starting to create what I'm going to do in my new life. So someone might be, really having the destruction of their old life right now. And then they're going to eventually, as you go through a shift, start to embody who you truthfully came here to be.
That's beautiful. And that's wonderful. It is funny how you say it goes in shifts, and it even carries into our, like what you want to eat, what you want to do, or things that used to be okay don't resonate anymore, things of that nature. And do you have any thoughts on that as well, Akura?
Yeah, I feel it almost similar. So we have to be honest to ourselves. You can't lie to yourself anymore because you see it, you feel it very, very clear, and you see all your old programs, everything. So it's deep, deep healing on so many levels. So actually, it's salvation. And I feel it too, this intense shift, that we tap into a new world.
That's awesome. And that's what we call the new earth. And it's a new dimension. It's a new consciousness, and it's a higher consciousness. I was thinking maybe it would, sometimes when you tell people, well, you're not, I don't want to say you're not conscious, but you really have to be conscious of those programs that have been running in your head, that might not serve you anymore, or probably don't serve you anymore, and recognizing them and transmuting them. What do you think about that? You're a consciousness coach, Ireland. What do you have to say about that?
Yes, it's all about, reprogramming, and that takes a lot of, mental work to be constantly aware of what programs are playing out, because your outer reality is a projection of the consciousness. It's a hologram projecting out. So I'm noticing more and more as time goes on and things are changing, that the outer reality is so interconnected with what's happening in the consciousness, and we're becoming more aware of that. And that's helping us realize that we have to start constructing the hologram in a way that we are sovereign, in a way that we create for ourselves, not that somebody else put inside of our consciousness about a way to believe this reality. It's all just been beliefs in the age of Pisces. So the age of Aquarius is all about a knowing, about aligning to your own personal knowing about life, and not just living out the program of the matrix or the program of somebody else's reality. Taking full responsibility and sovereignty over yourself. And that helps to anchor in the new earth, because most of us, we don't want to be living in fear and the lower vibrations. We want naturally to be in love and joy and happiness and create beautiful things. But we haven't realized that we have the power to do that. So now we're starting to be like, we have the power. And when we all come together as a collective with that power, with that sovereignty, new earth is going to just take over. It's going to take over.
Once we get the new earth into the collective consciousness,
yes,
of what we really want in life, and that's love and gratitude are two of the best things you could possibly have in your life. Michael, you do everyday lives on your channel, and I think that's really, really relevant, because that's what's being affected by everyone right now. And you want to expand on that a little bit, and how you're trying to help people?
Well, yeah, I mean, even myself, like, we're all here, and we're all, different. A lot of times I talk about how we're, positioned all around the world. And I speak about the Hopi prophecy a lot. We're different colors, classes, and creeds. We all have a different energy, and, me, like, I'm kind of like a common man, and, a lot of people might not, see and, associate a guy like me with spirituality. You know, I'm very science-based as well. But there is no divide between science and spirituality. All right. So we were talking about subconscious programs, and subconscious programs are mostly downloaded between birth to the age of 7 or 8. This is done by design, by nature, in order to, help us survive. And we download these subconscious programs, and they're naturally, they're supposed to help us navigate the world. So, we learn certain things, and, we don't get hurt, and we know how to succeed. But these subconscious programs, we have to ask the question, who are the writers of the subconscious programs? As we're peeling back this deception right now, we're learning that Medea, right? Media comes from Medea, the goddess of deception, right?
Ooh.
And everything is inverted, also known as Luciferian. So now we start to ask the question, who is the writer of the subconscious programs that we were given? We were given these programs. We learned things since birth till the age of 7 or 8. A lot of programs like I do not deserve. And
Yes.
people would go about their lives thinking they don't deserve certain things, right? Until you have to actually break the subconscious program. It's difficult, even like, just use this as an example where we're here in a relationship. I spent most of my life alone. And, you would think over a long period of time, oh, I'm never going to find someone. And it becomes the subconscious program. Subconscious programs are also developed through repetition. That's why we see them repeat things on media all the time, and they repeat it, and they repeat it, and they repeat it, and they repeat it, and then it becomes part of your subconscious mind. Then you start to go about your life sleeping, right? That's what it's about. You're just becoming an accumulation of subconscious programs, and you just like a default, you just go to that. A real life example is like when you're driving a car, and you always drive the car down a certain area. And, you're like, how did I get here? You've done it so many times. It's part of your subconscious mind. So this is actually part of nature. So it's not a nefarious thing naturally, but, it's kind of been hijacked. Sometimes certain things happen. We could have a bad, string of circumstances while we're younger, and then we continue those subconscious programs. Now that we're aware that this is actually science and that this is how we can rewrite our subconscious programs. And you're just becoming conscious, becoming aware that this is a thing. That alone will help a person break the subconscious program, and then they become the writer of the subconscious program. I started my YouTube channel. For those that are tuning in, never seen me before, it's Our Everyday Lives on YouTube. And, I share always about my first video, and I was very, I had a lot of anxiety. I might've been fearful, right? I'm just doing this off the cuff right now. I don't even know how many people are watching.
You're doing great. You're doing great. I can relate.
It's a real life example of how to raise your vibrational frequency. A lot of people here raise your vibration, and they just think it's a spiritual term. Before however many people are there, I could never do this years ago. Go back 3 years ago before I really started this. And I trained through repetition, and I rewrote my subconscious programs, and I developed routines and rituals, but it has to be backed up with radical action. Neuroplasticity, right? So we develop neural pathways in the brain. Do something new today, and meet new people, and get into new circumstances. Those that take the journey with me. I go to all these different locations, and I go out in nature. And just by going on a hike and having different surroundings, you start to open new neural pathways in the brain. And because of the matrix, we kind of get stuck in a job. We get beaten down with fear. And these are the states, if you're familiar with the states of vibrational consciousness, they want to keep you in fear, guilt, and shame. Shame is the lowest state of vibrational consciousness. So when we're in shame, and if we're in fear, we're always in that fight or flight. So, if anyone's struggling, if anyone's hearing this, I always say, get to the place of acceptance. We get to the place of acceptance that the whole world is feeling something right now. It might manifest differently in the 8 dimensions of wellness. You might be struggling with something that is different than someone else, but we all might be feeling something. So we get to acceptance and then rise up to love and authenticity.
It starts with acceptance, though, is what you're getting at, correct?
It's a good place to, it's just if you're familiar with the scale of consciousness,
Yes.
I always say, like, we can't become great, with whatever we, are striving to do. We can't become perfect, throw perfect out. But, if you're in fear of what's going on in the world, just reach a place of acceptance that, we all are changing right now, and we have to adapt. I always share on my channel, this is our evolutionary journey. A trip is planned. A journey has twists and turns. We don't know what's going to happen. So we're just every day.
We're getting a lot of that right now. We're getting a lot of that twists and turns right now. That's really happening. And people that have issues with change are going to have a more difficult time. So it's really important to be open to change and to be open-minded about what might or might not happen. And when you're talking about everyday lives, one of the things that always comes to mind that I think about, that I kind of laugh about at the same time, is we go about in such an unconscious manner, and I call it the hamster wheel of life, and it's just because you're constantly doing the same thing over and over and over again. Get up, eat, go to work, come home, eat, go to sleep, or, maybe watch the boob tube. Hopefully you don't, but it's better not to, because the programming, that's why they call it programs. But anyway, that's a whole nother issue. But all of that is changing right now as we speak. And it's a beautiful thing, because it means a higher state of consciousness, a higher state of living in our everyday life. And it's a wonderful thing. That's how I see it. What do you think, Akura? Do you agree?
I agree. It's about to accept your wounds and everything. So it was also the tool for Marcel. Marcel needed a wheelchair, and he had so many accidents, and he visualized all the time the result, how he can move again all the time. He meditated and visualized the result, and he accepted the pain without fighting it. And through this visualization all the time, he was able to move again. And actually, doctors told him that's impossible. So we have so much power. We are so strong. And I feel it too. We have to accept our wounds, shadows, our imperfections, and then they become one, because we shine a light on them. And then we are increasing our vibration, authentic. It's real, because you accept the pain, the wounds, and you say yes to them, because these wounds brought me to this moment. It's the same to Marcel and me. Marcel experienced so much darkness. He had a close to death experience. I had a suicide to try when I was 18. And when we were in this process, nothing made sense. But at the end, everything made sense, because through this pain, we were guided to each other.
That's interesting, because what I've always said, it seems like sometimes, and I don't mean to say that an accident is a mistake, but maybe, who knows? But sometimes we learn more from our mistakes than we do from what we've done right, because they really stand out, and they make us really reevaluate and look at what happened, and why did it happen, and what could I have done different, and how can I move forward? And being able to overcome a problem like being in a wheelchair is major. I was recently listening to a guy that they call him Miracle Man or something like that, and he actually had broken his spine, and he had iron rods in it and so on. I may have to have him on just to, but he meditated a great deal. He eventually had the rods removed. He studied the physiology and anatomy of the spine, and he has literally brought in a new spine for himself. I have had the experience of knowing a number of people that the doctor told them, you will never walk again. Mm-hmm. And people take that differently. Some people will say, oh, really? Oh, yes, I will. And then other people will go, oh, total victim programming. But when you actually take a hold of that and say, oh, really? That's when we have to realize how powerful we really are. And that's what's great. I'm so happy that you're a consciousness coach, Ireland, because that's what people need to hear, that they're powerful. They just don't know it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Dr. Joe Dispenza, he healed his spine too. He got in the bike accident, he healed himself, and it's crazy what we can do with our minds. It's
That's
really
who this
all
other guy used. That's who this other guy used as a role model, was Dr.
Oh,
Dispenza. Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh, wow.
I'll send you a link about that. But anyway,
Oh
go on.
wow, that's very cool.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. He used him as his model. He went to him and asked him for help. And he encouraged him and told him about what he did. And of course, the doctors were there telling him, "You'll never walk again. Oh, you can't do that. Or you can't do this, or whatever." And that's when the true spirit within you comes out.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful time. Just like Jesus said, the things that I do, you'll do in greater. And so before you know it, there's going to be all of our Christed selves walking around performing miracles and having all of the power within us. And it's amazing. People are starting to really tap into that in this time period. And it's so exciting.
It is exciting. And just knowing that we're powerful. We have really been, like Michael was saying about from very first 7 years of our life, a lot of us have been indoctrinated in feeling not worthy. Anywhere from wicked to guilty to shameful to any number of things that we've been programmed with. And that has really had a very adverse effect on our self-power, our self-image, and all those things have to be transmuted to come out of that and raise your vibration. Did you have something you wanted to add, Paul?
Well, I just wanted to mention that the energies that are hitting the planet right now are actually causing the capacity for physical manifestation on levels that like we've never seen before. And the only thing that you have to do to manifest anything that you want, to build your own perfect life, is to simply believe that it's possible and believe in your heart that that is your heart's desire, that is your wish, and the universe will deliver it to you. It's we have always been through our own lack of self-image manifesting our difficulties and struggles. We've always been doing that. But
Victim.
now we're at a point where if we continue that behavior, it's going to get infinitely worse for us. So we need to switch that consciousness right now. We need to say, I am mad as hell and I am not going to take it anymore. So I'm serious. I mean, there are people that are actually manifesting physical changes in their bodies. They're losing weight. They're rebuilding cartilage in their spines. They're strengthening bones. They're clearing acne and skin problems. And they're doing it just with their intention, with prayer, with intention and will. Come on, people. Wake up. Let's do this. I'm sorry. I'm just I get excited about this stuff.
It is exciting because things are changing. People are changing. It's coming forward. It is a wonderful thing. And that's why I wanted to have the guests that I have on too, because you have increased power when you're with your twin flame. You really do, I think, because you have two heads are better than one. As actually, it is one, but I mean that gets all complicated. But anyway, you know what I'm getting at. There's a lot of power in that, and so, but that's not to say we don't have our own individual power as well. And what we can do to wake people up to that is always challenging. So Akura, what do you think about that? How do you encourage people to recognize their own power? Do you have any method in particular?
Not really. I do what I love, because when I do what I love and I express my soul, so then I invite people to join my work. I don't judge them or that I say you have to. This is not my style. I do what I love, what my heart feels with joy, even through my style, clothings, or that I do artwork. So then I invite people to join. So, and then they increase the vibration when they feel a resonance to me. So that's a more ma feeling. Or when I talk to people, then I lower the consciousness level. It's hard to explain it for me in English. And I go into the same level. And then I try to level them a little bit up, to the next step. This is what I do.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Ireland, and then Michael? What do you?
What do you mean? What's the question specifically?
Well, the question is, when you're working with someone, what techniques or ideas or what do you do to help them to raise their consciousness, their joy level, their how do you open them up? Let me put it that way, so that they see more of their own power. Do you?
Yeah, I like to really boost people up. That's what I feel like one of my gifts is I can really lift someone up and give them a mirror of who they truly are, out of the shame, out of the fear, and let them know their power. And sometimes all it takes is someone to reflect that power that they already have within them, and then it lets them know how powerful they truly are. So that's usually what I do with my clients, is I just affirm all the good things that are going to happen in their life, and give them programs for their life that are on the positive timeline instead of the spiraling timeline that they've been on. And sometimes it just takes that little shift of perception for them to see a whole new reality that could play out for them. And so that's what I feel like my strong points is for people, is really just giving them a whole new program outside of limitation.
Well, I think sometimes random acts of kindness do miraculous things for people. A smile for someone that doesn't even know you, a boost of confidence in with some little compliment with someone maybe that you do know. All of those things have much greater impact than a lot of people realize, and that's where I like your program, Michael, about everyday lives, because people feel insignificant and that their life doesn't matter. Or what can I do kind of thing. And coming from, I just consider myself an average woman too. I'm just nothing special here, but I took this up, and I have to say, when I never would have dreamed that I'd be doing this today. But I'm really happy that I am, because I feel good about it. I learn things. People that watch this learn things, and that's the main focus here, is to help uplift people, help open their mind to new ideas, new concepts, and that's why I'm so happy to have guests like you on, because you all have a gift to give to the world that I think matters. And especially now during these turbulent times, because people are having a lot of difficulty dealing with all the fear programming. And when they realize that they have the power to even say no, or to, peacefully not comply, that kind of thing, it all becomes very, very relevant. So what about you, Michael? Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, well, to touch on what you just said, random acts of kindness, momentum is a real thing. So, we have to be aware of energies. And the one little thing that you can do for someone else, it could spark momentum. We all fall into a rut, and that's because, energy, it always is magnetic. So a lot of people, they share about the law of attraction. It's more importantly to understand the law of correspondence, and you are going to attract the vibration that you are. All right. So some people say, oh, do this for the law of attraction. You have to fix your core vibration first, and then you attract what you are. The law of correspondence is more relevant than the law of attraction. We're here, we could represent, like, we could talk about twin flames, and some people might be tuning in for that. Understanding self-worth. Some people, I share a lot. Dr. Bruce Lipton says that falling in love is equivalent to taking the red pill. When you have the right one next to you, all of a sudden you have so much more time for so many things. Everyone searches for love. This is a design of the Matrix. It's designed to make people not find authentic love. It's designed so that you keep falling into traps and you're constantly searching, and you're wasting so much time. So as he said, falling in love is equivalent to taking the red pill. But every single person must realize that the most important relationship that you will ever have is with yourself.
I was hoping that's where you were going, because that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You have to be able to love yourself.
And then eventually, once you reach that, then we go back to the law of correspondence. I put it all together, right? You get back to the law of correspondence. Once you work on yourself, then you will broadcast an electromagnetic signature that will then attract what you are. So if you're all beaten down, if you're putting out a negative vibration, that you're not going to attract, the right one. So, I heard a quote once, and it really resonated with me, and it's true. And whether you're with someone or not, but you always live inside your head, and you enter this world alone, and you will leave this world alone. So the most important relationship is that what you have with yourself, because you could be with someone, I might be with someone that, it picks me up, a twin flame relationship, you kind of pick each other up. But people, and millions of people can hear this message, but people could be with someone and feel alone. People could be in a room and with 100 people and feel alone. You're always inside of your head every single second. And one of the things that I talk about on my channel is mental health awareness. You live inside your head all day long. So you must ironcladly have a relationship with yourself before anything else.
And the Matrix has taught us to always look outside of ourselves for everything. Don't you? That's what it seems like anyway. What did you want to comment on that, Akura?
I think children are good inspiration because they are so connected and so authentic. So they do what they want, they do what they feel, they are so curious, open-minded, and they share their soul and express themselves. So without any filter. So I think children are a good example as well, because they are so happy to play, and even when there's chaos around them, they're still playing. So because they are so centered, present in the moment. So, and I see it too. I never searched up for a partner. So I deal with myself alone. So because I felt it when I search up for someone, then I will attract a very strange partner. So then we go in resonance. It's the vibration.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes no sense to me.
Absolutely. Misery loves company. So if you're not in a relationship right now and you want somebody to be in a relationship with you in an uplifting and joyful manner, make your heart happy first before you find that person. Because if you're a negative Ned or whoever, you are going to attract that very thing into your life, and then the two are just going to expand. So
And something that came to mind with something that you said, Akura, was when you talk about children playing and how no matter what chaos is going, they can still play, they can still be happy, they can still be joyful. And what other people have said, and I think is very relevant to this conversation, is getting back in touch with your inner child.
Yes.
Learning joy again, having fun, what you really love, what you love doing, those are the things to try to focus on whenever you can.
Yeah, enjoy this precious moment. So children do it intuitively. They stay in this moment, and they are so connected to their soul. That's why they are so authentic and pure.
Staying in your heart and staying in the moment seems to be extremely important here.
Mm-hmm.
And out of our head. we've been taught to be in our head a lot.
Too much. Yeah, too much.
Yeah. Always analyzing, always trying to figure things out and that kind of thing. So cool. That's wonderful. So we're always looking outside of ourselves when our greatest power is within ourselves. And once we recognize that, then we can expand and grow way beyond what we ever thought before.
Yes, of course. It starts within us. So, and now we are going back to our heart. We figure out who we really are, or what is our divine purpose. What is it? So we feel it so clear now. So when you open your heart, you will feel it. Why are you here exactly?
People have a lot of trouble with that. At least some of the people that I've talked to, they don't really know what their purpose is or what they should be doing. And what do you say to those people? How do you tune into that? Do you have anything that works?
Sometimes,
Because I might say it to somebody sometime when they say that to me, well, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just here, kind of thing.
yeah, sometimes the childhood. Yeah, sometimes the childhood is a good indicator. So when I turn back, or when I think about it, when I was a child, I all the time wanted to sing. That was my favorite ability or my free time activity. So, and sometimes when you turn back into a child, so then you feel it. It can be an indicator. Or what I tell is open your heart and tune into it. What is your favorite free time activity? And do you ask for money? Because when you do it without any money, because you have so much fun, so then this is your purpose. Because you do it even without money.
Really, that's it. Because money is actually a construct of the slavery system, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then money comes to you because you don't ask for money.
You
so you let it go, and it comes to you.
Yeah, and I've found myself with my own experience that the more I worry about it, the more I have problems with it. Like if you don't think about it so much and get yourself all concerned about it, is a problem. Is that, I hear a typing sound in the background.
Yeah, me too.
Is that you, Paul?
No, and I've been muted and trying to sort it out.
I wonder what that is.
Like
it's a weird sound.
An echo cancellation thing that is happening, and I haven't identified it yet.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I just thought I'd ask.
Must be the energy.
Yeah,
I don't know. It must
maybe
be.
It's good energy, right?
Somebody's listening.
I have no idea where it's coming from. We've been live for about 39 minutes so far. Do we have time to take a break? How long are we going to run today?
Well, I'm open to as whatever length we care to go. We can take a little break if you want, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. If that's what you want.
I was just trying to park it in the middle. How long do we think we're going to be chatting today? 90 minutes, a couple hours?
At the most. Probably, yeah. Because if it gets too long, then people look at the length and they go, oh, that's kind of long, kind of thing. And maybe in the meantime, you can figure out what this little weird sound is.
Yeah.
Somebody's listening.
Yeah, somebody's listening. That's coming from somewhere. Anyway, this is a wonderful conversation, and we will be right back and carry on with more of this uplifting, joyful, and childlike information. So we'll be right back. Thank you.
Free Range is pleased to present Modexis and the superfruit Lonicera cerulean. The cornerstone of Modexis products, Lonicera cerulean, is a superfood that supports life at the cellular level. Whether you're looking for a longevity product with added glutathione and ATP, something to help lift you through the day without having to resort to stimulants like caffeine or acidic energy drinks, or just seeking a natural solution to support stress management. Modexis also has a natural approach to pain management. Its Relieve product is unique in its ability to support the body's own pain management system. It's been said you'll notice a difference the very first day. The second day, you'll be loving the products, and the third day, you'll be telling friends about Medexus. Visit medexus.gailofgaia.com to learn more and to see what other people are saying about these quality products. That's medexus.gailofgaia.com. Free Range with Gail of Gaia is honored to be affiliated with MyNutra, makers of hemp paste. Hemp paste is a whole food product that still contains most, if not all, of the terpenes, phytonutrients, essential elements, and CBDs of the raw hemp plant. CBD oil manufacturing methods strip away living essential elements, leaving only one, a dead CBD oil. CBD oil alone simply cannot support the entourage effect that occurs when hemp pastes essential nutrients go to work to support your optimum health. Almost 200 terpenes and over 500 other phytonutrients work together with a synergistic effect that simply doesn't happen with CBD oil alone. Visit hemppaste.gailofgaia.com. That's hemppaste.gailofgaia.com to learn more. And be sure to check out the impressive array of hemp-enriched products while you're there. That website again, hemppaste.gailofgaia.com. That's hemppaste.gailofgaia.com. Free Range with Gail of Gaia and Free Range Productions is proud to partner with C60evo.com, makers of ESS 60 products. C60, the carbon-60 molecule, delivers more than 172 times the power of vitamin C as an antioxidant. ESS 60 is simply the purest form of C60, a known antiviral, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory remedy that not only works, it is the only C60 molecule that is approved for both internal and external use. ESS 60 neutralizes free radicals from cell metabolization and external toxins to help minimize inflammation and maximize detoxification. People report better sleep, more energy and flexibility, and renewed mental clarity when they take ESS 60 products. For more information, visit ess60.gailofgaia.com. That is ess60.gailofgaia.com.
Hello. What happened? Did we lose everyone?
No, we didn't.
I think 3
No,
is a bit much.
we're back.
Where's everybody? I don't see anybody anymore.
I'm bringing him back.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
Hi. I'm sitting there like, where'd everybody go? I didn't see them. Well, I'm glad you're still here. Sometimes
I
people
was
just-
trying to talk to you, but I wasn't in the stream, so my microphone wasn't on, even though it said it was on. So,
Well, I'll tell you, I don't really like doing commercials that much, but sometimes I need some help, so that's the only reason it's done. But anyway,
I only went 3 because Michael had stepped away. I said, okay, well, he's away, so I'll do one more. We'll give him a chance to get back to the show.
well, I couldn't see anything because I get blanked out at that point because you're running that over there. But anyway, it's all good. And
There we go.
Oh, there you go again. All right. Just for that, you guys get the stage next. Okay. Speaking of childlike activities and fun and so on, Ireland or Michael, either one of you, what do you have to say about that?
Uh-oh.
You're muted.
Wait,
Oh, I'm muted? Okay.
There you go.
Now it's
Got it.
Now
working.
you're good.
I feel like the whole point is going back to being a child, you know? That's where we find our true essence. And a child is, like Akira said, so innocent, so pure, so in the moment. They're so imaginative. And I think during this time, it's time to go back to out of the linear thinking, the left hemisphere, and more into the right, the creativity, using your imagination to create all the new timelines for yourself. When you start getting out of the subconscious programs, you start realizing you can have this ticket outside of the glass ceiling, your imagination, just like Willy Wonka. It's your golden ticket to break out. And that's what I feel like even in our relationship at Twin Flame is we're going back to being a child together. We're so childlike together. We're always talking like in a baby voice. Like we're so he's all embarrassed now.
Well, you know what that reminds me is so funny is that when I was a child, my mom woke me up. I was jumping rope in bed. And I was totally asleep at the time. But anyway, I was having fun.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. Yes, it's like it's great to be a child again and to go back to just being so pure. So pure. That's how I feel most of the time. Like when I'm not purging a lot, is I'm just very happy and giggly, and some people think that's weird. Some people, but I'm like, whatever. We're all going back to that place, I feel like, during this time. And through your relationships, that's how you should gauge a healthy relationship, I feel like, is if you're going back to being more childlike. If you're still really serious and going through a lot of karmic stuff, then it's more of that sort of relationship, more of that purging, more of that karma that you have to deal with, compared to a twin flame, which is it could be at first be a purge, but it's more so with the union, that childlike relationship for sure.
I love that.
The inner child comes out, and I just want to share as well, because of the energies that we're going through right now, nostalgia is a very big thing. So things that, and I'm going through it as well, like I'm very drawn to things from my childhood. And, because it's almost like, because the matrix is falling, it's almost like we're getting a second chance in life. I feel like that a lot. And there's been a lot of nostalgia, things that trigger nostalgia, for me in the past like year and a half. So as we're going through this collapse of all the control and stuff, we're kind of getting back to, the things that make us happy. And, that's what life is really all about. It's just about being happy. It's not about anything else but that.
If there was ever a blessing that I had as a child that I recall the most, that I love the most, that has the most impact on me now, is being out in nature. We used to vacation in northern Wisconsin, and there were forests and there were lakes and there were trees. And here where I'm at now, the beauty that surrounds this area, it just is phenomenal. And the more I get out in nature, the better I feel. I just feel I come back and I'm bordering on feeling blissful, and if not blissful, and then, come back to the routine in the apartment, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I love nature, and that was something that attracted me to your channel, Michael, because you did a lot of stuff outside in nature by water. I love water, and those kinds of things. Just I don't know. They bring a peaceful calmness or serenity or something that is not as relevant when you're inside. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, and we're also bombarded by frequencies. So all of the frequencies that are pumped out in the city,
Yes.
we're in ground zero. So it's, they always said if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere, and everything is tough. But I felt like I was born here, and but there's a lot of lies about the area as well, as you could see. Like almost all the places that I go to are from New York. It's just that everyone's focused. All of those lenses of Medea are focused in Manhattan. We just were in Manhattan the other day. It's a different feel in Manhattan. If I could go on a little bit of a rant, and I shared about I came across how years ago the Native Americans would travel to Manhattan Island. They would perform their rituals, and then they would go home. And there's just the stone that lies there. And remember, we went to Central Park, and you saw the stone. There's just so much power there. It's actually not designed for people to live there, because it's just so, when you're in the city, it just feels, along with everything else that's going on, So, we could also ask the question, what are the rituals that are going on in recent times in Manhattan? We've seen events and stuff that were actually rituals. And when we start to connect all the dots, we could see what was going on. But, when you're in nature, it's, it's a cleanse of all the, I go to the beach all the time, the salt water. I talk about grounding, allowing the negative ions of the planet to course through the body. People suffer from nature's deficit disorder, which is a thing.
That's a good way of putting it.
And what happens is positive ions of the body build up, and it causes dis-ease. Disease means dis-ease. The body is not eased. And, when you're in nature, and I feel it's the more you get in tune to it, you feel it more and more. And I can almost feel like a release when I step in the sand with barefoot. I'm like, oh, I feel like something come out. And, we're trained to, a lot of people, hopefully more and more people are walking away from their jobs. But, people, they're trained to, put shoes on, go to the city
with rubber soles.
Yeah, sit in the cubicle all day, work, come home, you're exhausted, you pass out, and you repeat the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, that's what I call the hamster wheel of life.
Yeah.
It's just the same old over and over again, and it doesn't get you anywhere. But yet they make you feel like that's how you get rewarded. You get rewarded when you work hard, when you make lots of money. I've always had issues with measuring a person's character by the size of their pocketbook, and that's something that's part of the matrix. And it seems as though it even becomes an addiction, and people lose pieces of their soul in the process. So it's so important, again, to get back to being the childlike, and seeing through the eyes of the child. I think that's even in the scripture somewhere. And it goes against the grain. I mean, it goes against the matrix grain. And I'm hearing typing again.
Yeah, somebody's typing.
Yeah, it's echo cancellation that's happening. What we've got going on is just a buttload of concrete abundance disorder. Get out of the city.
Abundance disorder. Concrete, yeah. The asphalt jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that nature deficit disorder. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to use that. I think that's a real, very realistic terminology, and very descriptive as well.
Yeah.
And it's like getting people to get out of the asphalt jungle. It's just like there were programs sometimes in different schools where they would take children out to that have never been to a farm before. They never seen the different animals or being on a farm, and that's really a serious deficit in their life not to be able to experience that at some point in time. And
just look at the YouTube videos where all these like small hobby farms and things. I mean, they get goats, they get chickens, and they have the children at home. They homeschool them, and they have faith and belief in their creator. They're very spiritual people. And you just look at the kids running around. I mean, the kids have got their toys on the patio, or they're out in the field. They're helping dad, and they're joyful. They're happy. They're out in nature working, as opposed to camped out in the house with their iPad and their Xbox. And
well, it's funny because I see myself sometimes. I mean, we talk about people with, they got their phone in front of them. Even when you see them walking down the street, looking at the phone, and even though there is communication there, which isn't a bad thing, but you have to be concerned about the frequencies that are being put out by that. And I think you addressed that in some of the visions that you had in the past, Akura. The phones being something that is
It
putting out
controlled
frequency.
them. It controlled them. Yeah. When we joined this density, I'm not sure. Maybe it was other timeline, or maybe it was their plan by the dark forces. But I saw only young people, and everyone had a cell phone, and they were totally controlled by their cell phone. Really, everything. The cell phone gave them advices, what they have to believe, what they have to feel. But this frequency was so toxic that it became one with their mind and subconsciousness. It was so crazy to see that. All these holograms and almost only young people. So when this cell phone told them you have to hate this person, then they hated this person. So they were one with technology. So
That's the
maybe
AI
it was their
technology.
plan. Yeah,
And
AI,
that's,
yeah.
yeah, and that's definitely not something that we want.
No.
And they're trying to move us in that direction. So people need to be aware of the issues with frequency, because it's not a frequency that's compatible with bioplasticity. Let me put it
Yeah.
that way. I like that neuroplasticity. It certainly interferes with that. But we as humans have radical resilience. I think Greg Braden put it that way. But at the same time, being aware of this is really important.
Mhm.
Do you have a take on any of that, Michael or Ireland?
I just did a video on the metaverse yesterday and
Oh,
about
really? See?
transhumanism.
Synchronicity. Here we go.
But that's the plan. It's the dark forces. They know we're ascending. They know we're on the ascension timeline. So they're like, oh no, the slaves are going to be free. So they're trying to get people in the artificial reality so that their souls are captured, so that they can body snatch, they can take over people's consciousness and mind control them through the artificial virtual realities, where people, they're not resonating at the frequencies of Gaia, of nature. They're resonating at these static like frequencies that are not organic, and it's going to cause the vessel, the light body, to go out of balance, and for the consciousness itself to fragment out. And when you're so fragmented, then and you're lost within your spiritual body, something else can infiltrate you.
Yes.
And it'd be controlled. And that's the next step. That's the next plan. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying we need to be very aware of what's going on with AI. There's technology can be good. Like, we're using this for good, positive things.
Yes.
There's good AI, but this artificial reality is not good. It's not positive. It's so
very toxic. Very
toxic. Yes.
Yeah, really.
Toxic.
Yes. EMF. I mean, people should even wear things to protect themselves with that. Go ahead, Michael. You have something to say.
One of the things that we have to be aware of is free will is the law of the universe. And what they're doing is they are making reality, the real reality, so terrible that people will, through free will, line up to plug into another reality. We're seeing it now. We're seeing that everyone's tired of everything that's going on, so that they'll line up just to go back to where it was. They said they'll line up for the mark of the beast and be proud. And where do we see that around the world? Lining up and being proud about it. And but it ultimately, when they want to, it's an escape. It's an escape. And it's not the people's fault. It's the what do we want to call them? The serpents, the creatures,
controllers,
draconians.
Whoever's responsible. We always remember that it's not about, it's all about the vibration and who's representing the vibration. But if we ask the question, if people or entities are making the reality so bad, those are the ones that are responsible. And then through people in a sense, people's free will is being manipulated so that they just want to tune out to this reality. It's really not supposed to be this bad. And they, through free will plug into metaverse or whatever they want to plug in. It was like, it's literally like the Matrix. It's like, if you saw the Matrix and they were all like plugged in and they had no clue that like they have to tell you. They have to tell you the truth in movies. It's called predictive programming. So if anyone is listening to this and He's never seen The Matrix. I mean, that's literally playing out right now, and people will never know. And they're
Some
plugged
people
in.
are calling it a documentary.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
Matrix is very, very true. When this astral flight has started this year, FBI agents appeared and they really looked similar to Agent Smith. Similar. So, and they attacked us astral. That was crazy. Yeah, so Matrix is very true. Yeah, and it's the heart.
Yeah, there we go back to the heart and how far it expands outside of us. That's why it's so important. And what did they do? They kept us 6 foot away, 6 foot away, 6 foot away. I mean, think about that for a minute. And
one thing I'd like to point out is if you'll notice, there's no iPad, there's no cell phone, there's no nothing communicating those or connecting those two bodies. It's their heart fields. So if you think that your phone is an equal communication device to actually being next to somebody, you need to wake up.
yeah, it's definitely not the same. It is a way to communicate, though, and in a world where they're making people stay apart from each other, that's a real serious problem. That's why people need to say no and peaceful noncompliance. I guess they're not forcing that quite as much, but now they're trying to quarantine people back in their homes and things of that nature. And it's all based on a false reality, a false everything, and it is steering people in the wrong direction. So I try to be careful of what I say because you got to be so careful what you say, because if you say something just wrong, it wouldn't be the first time I've been taken down, and so I don't want that to happen. But I think everyone knows what I'm talking about. And so being in your heart space is really, 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 really important. And crystals are great. Do either of you work with? Does anybody here work with? Okay. Hey, I got one. I got one here. I got a bigger one.
Oh.
Yeah, I like to share about that, though. Especially when
I haven't had it that long.
Yeah, especially if you're familiar with the placebo effect. And the placebo effect is when like a person just takes a sugar pill and just gets better just with thought. There is no crystal, there is nothing else but you. That
that just proves how powerful you are.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
It's not but you can and it's the same concept as the placebo effect. If it helps you, but it's all inside. It's all inside, and nothing exterior is. It could be amplified. You could get to it could you could use it to either calm you down or try to speed things up. But ultimately, I always say the will beats the skill. The will beats the skill, and it's all about the will that you have inside the heart. As we just saw, the heart has a magnetic field 5,000 times greater than the brain. Yes. So we're supposed to listen to the heart and not the brain. The brain is just it's a device. It's the heart is really the brain.
Yeah, exactly. What would you call it? The CPU? I mean, we're kind of like a biological computer in a lot of ways. I think, and I'd like your opinion on this. I think different light workers have been placed in different areas for specific reasons, and that is to raise that vibration in that area. Because when you're together with, especially if you're with your twin flame, or even if you're not, and you're putting out positive vibrations in whatever way you can, it affects those around you, and maybe in the area that you're in, it's needed there. You're there for a reason, even if you're not, totally aware of that reason. Do you think there's truth in that? Anyone?
I think so. Yes. So Germany is very heavy. The energies are very heavy here, but I feel it's important that we are here because they need the shift. They need it. Yeah. Because I know so many light workers and starseeds, and they're telling me I have to move, I have to leave Germany. But I think when everyone is leaving Germany now, so what's going on with the people, with the energies there? So, and I think we need a few light workers and starseeds. They have to stay here in Germany. Not everyone can run away now.
Yeah, that's what what brought that thought to mind was, you, Michael and Arlen, you're in New York. So, and everybody thinks New York is very heavy too. And yet you've managed to lighten things up by going to nature places right there in New York as well. And even if you don't stay there, I mean, people are, when you're compelled to go somewhere, if you are compelled to go somewhere, there's a reason for it.
Yeah. It's it is heavy here. It's a lot heavier than it was years ago. She's kind of new to the area, and it's a little overwhelming for someone that hasn't lived here. But even myself, it's changed so much. The corruption is out of control. And it's just totally draining. I find the little places, but and I share about like how we are the organic grid and we're all strategically placed. But eventually we shift, however it's going to play out. But that's the thing, like we have to be fluid because there's so many different things that are, so many different aspects that are playing out. We don't know what's going to happen next. And ultimately, that's why I always say you only have to worry about yourself first. So when you can't tell anyone, what to do in any aspect, but I always talk about the lighthouse. And the lighthouse doesn't have to go to the ships that are out there. The lighthouse blasts its light, and then the ships will find the lighthouse. So you just got to worry about yourself. And there's a lot of misconceptions. Maybe within spirituality and communities and what's taught, you have to make sure your cup is filled first before you help anyone else, and then once you charge up, then you could help others. But and even beyond that too, because of free will, we all know something wrong out there. We know to stay away from certain things, but you can't, like, a person has to make their own decision to not. So they say, oh, he or she, is not, or they're doing, oh, maybe I want to do that too. And then through their own free will, they will make the decision to level up or remove themselves from the matrix or whatever you want to call it.
Okay, so it's kind of one of those, like the old saying or cliche is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Yes.
You can present people with the information and give them the opportunity to open their mind to it, but they can choose not to. And that's free will.
Yeah.
I felt for a long time that our free will was kind of usurped by a lot of the negative frequencies that were being projected onto the planet through malevolent forces and, our dark forces, so to speak. But according to many light workers that I have heard and talked to, they say that most of that, maybe not all of it, but most of it has been removed. So, and this is one of the reasons why people are being able to open up more to their true self.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that, everyone here? Would you say that's true?
Yeah. Anxiety is a big thing. I used to suffer from a lot of anxiety years ago, and what is anxiety? Anxiety is fear of the future. Many people feel anxiety right now because no one knows what's really going on, so, once the anxiety leaves, the fear leaves, and, again, I said it before, and a lot of people should become aware of this. The lowest state of vibrational consciousness is shame. Shame is lower than fear.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Shame is the absolute low. There's nothing lower than shame. So when you see, creatures shaming you for something, that's associated.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay. Yeah, that says a lot right there. It really does. Excellent. Yeah. And the sad part about that is that parents do that to their children, and that kind
Yes.
of programming is hard to break then later on in life, because it's way back there in the subconscious mind, and breaking it is a real challenge. But recognition and knowledge about it is the first thing that comes to mind, that helps to make that transmute that. Let me put it that way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, is anything anybody else wants to add to this wonderful conversation? I'm at a loss for words at the moment. But
I was gonna say something, I forgot. It's gone.
I hate it. I hate it when that happens.
I know.
Well, at least I feel better now. It's not just old age.
Oh, this is
I resemble that remark.
There's another one of the programs, you know.
I know. I was gonna say, as a light worker, as a starseed, you don't necessarily have to do anything. You just even raising your frequency, raising your vibration. For every one person who raises their vibration very, very high, I think it affects like over like thousands and thousands of people. So we're affecting the grid without even doing anything. Us just existing, we're affecting the things around us unconsciously. So especially with like a twin flame relationship, that's why a lot of twin flames were called to Gaia at this time, is because the energy is so strong. It just puts love all out onto the grid and raises the frequency of the planet. So it's really amazing that we can just simply be ourselves, show up, be of service, and that's all we have to do, truly.
You know, and a lot
beautiful.
of times I share on my channel, be the change that you want to see in the world. You know, and I coined this phrase, you know, maybe it'll be world famous someday. Attention is the currency of the universe. So we pay attention. That's what you pay. And whatever you're paying attention to, you give your life force energy to. So it's called the currency of the universe on YouTube. So
I like that. I like that. That's a very true statement. Very truthful.
Right? So we pay attention. So the way that we all win this, the way that the evil goes away, is simply to not pay attention anymore. Stop participating in the matrix. Stop watching television. Stop going to the concerts. Stop going out to restaurants. You don't know who's preparing the food either and what's in the food. Start cooking your own food. I'm also like a little bit of a motivational speaker too, so might be a little strong for some of the people watching, but take ownership. That's okay. Everything that you're doing right now. When you take ownership of everything and you stop paying attention, stop watching the TV, stop going to concerts, stop worshiping false idols. When we stop doing it, everything will collapse. And you can find me on YouTube.
Yes, our everyday lives, right? And why don't we all go around and Akura, you have your own channel too, is right? Correct?
Yeah, Akura is my YouTube channel. Yeah,
that's very easy to find, and I love that. You know, you do some great thumbnails. I really like them a lot. They're great. And Ireland, what's your channel?
Yes, it's just Ireland Clark. So Ireland like
YouTube.
The country, and then Clark like Lewis and Clark.
You're the first Ireland that I ever know, even though I have Ireland heritage.
Oh wow! Irish. I'm Irish too.
Oh, really? Okay. That makes sense, I guess. I didn't know that. But anyway, and of course, Michael, your channel is Our Everyday Lives. Is that correct?
It's Our Everyday Lives on YouTube. I also have a Telegram channel, Our Everyday Lives, the same thing. And we also have a group chat on Telegram, Our Everyday Lives 528, for the 528 hertz frequency. That's how I started this mission. I learned about frequencies. I studied Nikola Tesla, The Secrets of Vibration and Frequency. I learned about the 528 hertz frequency, the miracle tone, And you know, a little bit about me, you know, years ago, so like, how did you have your spiritual awakening or whatever? And it was more scientific maybe than most. I just was tired all the time, and you know, I've had this chronic fatigue, and you know, I on YouTube this documentary of Nikola Tesla, and I learned about the miracle tone, and then all of a sudden it came up this you know, frequency, a sound, and I started using it and sleeping with it, and I just naturally saw my energy change. So, you know, certain things can heal you. Could be as simple as a sound. So we're disconnecting from the matrix. We're disconnecting from fake medicines, and we're reconnecting to you know, just nature. And you know, even like I said before, nature's deficit disorder really is a thing. And
Yes,
get out in nature today. Get out in nature today. And you are vibrating. It's like, some people just think it's like a spiritual term, but you are vibrating. And the faster you vibrate,
Yes.
the better your physical, mental health, and your everyday life experience will be.
Beautiful, beautiful. You know, that's funny that I don't know if you can see it, but in the back of the room in the corner over here, I have a gong, whatever you want to call it, that rings at 528. And I also have,
That's great.
yeah,
Synchronicity.
and I also have a tuning fork. I also have a tuning fork that does the 528, and sometimes I do it around my body, you know, to enhance
Oh,
my
that's
aura.
cool.
Anyway, yes, I vibration means a lot, and 432 is another one for music and mantras that can help people tremendously as well. So this has been an absolute delight doing this show, and I think you all have brought up wonderful information for everyone, and I just feel very happy about it. So it was great having you, and
Thank you.
I hope everyone enjoyed this show, and thank you so much for being here and being on my show. I really appreciate it, and we're going to get it out there and get as many people as possible to see it. So thank you. And remember, love and gratitude are two of the most powerful vibrations in the whole on the planet. Let me put it that, or in the universe, maybe even too. So I will take it all the way. Take it all the way. Okay. All right. And did you have something to add, Paul?
No, I just wanted to.
Oh.
I just wanted to talk us out of the show. If we're done, everybody wave to the peeps.
Yes. Thank you for
Okay.
listening, everyone. We love you. We're here to help. Thank you.
Remember, your heart space didn't pick up the junk programming that you've been taught your entire life. So center yourself in your heart space. Do what makes your heart feel wonderful, and stay right there. And then the conscious junk programming will just fade away.
Stay in joy. Okay. Thank you again. And thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you.
Bye, guys.